Hi.
Good morning, everyone, and welcome to this new webinar. So we just wait a few seconds, maybe, or we're gonna start really soon. So,
Can start and introduce ourselves.
yeah, so welcome. So I'm Nicolas Vuaille. I'm a ParaView developer for many years now, and also I give some ParaView trainings during the year. And here's my colleague that will assist me for this webinar, Louis.
Yes. Hi, I'm Louis Gombert. I'm also a ParaView and VTK developer, and I'll be your host today.
So I see that there's already some people in the chat, so do not hesitate to go to the chat to introduce yourself and to obviously to ask questions. We will have a look at it and we'll try to answer. So concerning today, we will speak about day-to-day workflow in ParaView. So just how to use nice features from ParaView to make it handy for your day-to-day use case. But first, just a word about Kitware, because with Louis we work at Kitware that are the maintainers for ParaView. So Kitware is an open source software based company with different domains of applications, so computer vision, data analytics, scientific computing, that is the case of ParaView, but also medicals and even some software solution you probably know about CMake if you are a C++ developer, that come from Kitware at first place. So our application run on different kind of architecture, obviously on desktop, but also on the web, and it scales up to the biggest HPC of the world. So here are some subset of our platforms, including ParaView, slicers, CMake, and many other. As it is open source component, Kitware work is oriented on services, so it includes training, support, development, but also grand collaboration to be up on the state of the art of the research. Concerning ParaView, probably you already know about that if you are here today, but in case you are just a beginner with that, so it's really a high performance post-processing tool that is able to load a lot of kind of data and to analyze this data and do some advanced visualization of it. So I think we are up to start this webinar directly.
Yeah, absolutely.
So
let's get started.
Let's go with opening ParaView.
So we've just started ParaView. Let's assume I've just run a CFD simulation, a computational fluid dynamics simulation, and I want to post-process the output of this simulation in ParaView. How do I get started?
So at first place, once you open ParaView, you obviously have to load the data. So you can go in the file menu and file open. That is very usual case of a lot of software. And then you can navigate and find your data file. Here is open from data. And as always in ParaView, you need to hit the apply button so the data is actually processed. So here it's not, it will take a few seconds to load the whole data set up. And then you have a first preview of your data. So here, I guess we are in the CFD, so computational fluid dynamics. So probably that the cylinder is just the fluid around the data. Am I correct?
Yeah, that's exactly correct. But what I've simulated was a plane. I want to see the plane and its components. How can I isolate those?
So once you load the data, if you want to verify that it is correct, you can click on the information tab here and see what is inside. This is the place for metadata. So here you have the file path and you have the structure of your data. Here we have multi-block, so with different components mesh, and you can see their name. You can find the data array associated to it, but you can also just move the render view, and we can, for instance, zoom in it, and then we can see the actual object inside our fluid.
There it is. Okay, now how can I isolate the plane from the case?
So here, as we have a composite dataset with different parts, we can extract the different subparts. So probably we want to extract the plane in one part and extract the fluid in another, so we can process the fluid only. So what we will use is a filter, and in that case, it's a filter that is called the extract block filter, because we want to extract just a subset of our architecture. So for instance, we would like to extract, only the, what did I do? I need to remember what was the correct, just internal mesh, probably.
Okay, so this is the outer structure.
So here it is just the wool mesh inside the cylinder, so the mesh corresponding to the fluid. So if you want to extract in another part just the plane, we need to create a new one. So note that to create filter, I use the filters menu, but if you already know the name of the filter you want to use, you can also just, it's control and space, that is written here, that's the search option.
Okay.
And then you have just a small pop-up that comes, and you can write the name of the filter you want to use.
Okay, just the few letters are sufficient to find the filter. Okay.
And you will see we have some upgrade of this window for the next 5.13 version of ParaView that is currently in a release cycle. So that will come in a few weeks. And you can already try the release candidates from the website. But back to our use case, I typed the first letters of my filters, and it's enter, and it creates my extract block. And this time I want to get everything but the fluid, so I can remove the internal mesh that is the fluid, and I remove also the boundary condition, so outlet, inlet, and the symmetry surface. And then I can apply. I see nothing because I still have my fluid that is visible, but I can hide it and see my plane here, so we can zoom on it.
There is my plane.
And see,
All right. So the quick launch option is nice, but what if I don't remember the name of the filter? Is there another option to find it?
Of course, if you don't remember the name, it's not so easy, but if you know that you always will have to use the extract block and will have to use that often when you load data, then you can store it as a favorite filter. It means you will have a new entry in this submenu. So you can select an extract block instance and add it to the favorite.
Okay.
And now you just have to go into the favorite submenu, and you will have all your favorites that will appear. And you see that they appear with bold fonts, so even when you go through the usual menu, it's easier to see them. And finally, once you have different favorites, you can control how they are organized with the Manage Favorites menu. Once again, this is something that we recently improved since the 5.12 release of ParaView. So now it's more advanced configuration, but the idea is the same. You can choose some filter of interest and organize them into your own category.
Okay, I got it. We got a question from François Mazin. How can we preview the block before extracting them?
So if you want to have an idea of any block before the actual extraction, you can use the multi-block inspector that provides also a view of the structure, and then you can select the different elements and it will select them in your render view. So that's a way to discover each part without doing an actual extraction. You can even hide some subparts and show just what you want.
Okay, that's really handy. Nice to know. Anyways, yes, this webinar will be recorded, and the VOD will be available on Vimeo. Okay, so let's continue. So I've extracted 2 blocks, but the name of the filter don't quite fit to what they represent. So do you have an option to rename them?
Yeah, of course. Now, if you want to continue your analysis and apply some filter on the fluid part, you need to remember if the fluid is extract block 1 or 2, you have to click on it. But you can also just rename the entry in the pipeline. With the right click, you have this menu and you can easily rename it into fluid, for instance. Or you can just also double click on the pipeline entry and directly edit and call it plane, for instance. So then you have a more readable pipeline and it's easy to remember what is each filter.
Okay, really nice. Okay, so I've lost enough documents to software crashes or problems, so now I want to save my work and be sure I will find this work again. How do I do that?
So if you want to save your work and not just the output data, you will need to save states, and the state in ParaView is really just what you did in your ParaView session. So when saving a state, you don't store any data. You just save the configuration of your analysis. So you will save the pipeline, it means which reader you use, which file, and the filter you apply on it, but also the different visualization you may have set up. So that's under the file menu too, you can save state. Okay. So for instance, you can have a directory here. You can call it plain analysis.
Okay.
And
so the state file should be lightweight because it does not store data, even if my data is big.
You never store the data with directly with the state. So when you load back a state, you have to provide the data again. So either it's the same place on your disk, so it's really straightforward, or you will have to talk that. But we can show that. For instance, let's say it was the end of the day, we close ParaView or just reset the session with this button. We clean up what we did. And then we want to work again on our airplane.
Yeah.
So now you have to load the state. And I'm gonna take some more advanced states, so
let's keep ahead and discover more advanced features of ParaView.
Okay. Now you have this pop-up that asks you how to find the actual data file. So you can use the exact same file as first place, by default that. But you can also look for a specific directory. That is useful for several reasons, because it means that you can share your state file with other people, you can move your state file in different machines, but also it means that you can reuse the same state file for different input data. Let's say that since your state file, you did a new run of your simulation and you want to process it the same way, you can reuse the same state file and just switch the input data. Okay. So here we will take the Spitfire data, okay.
That's our plane.
And it will load it with a new pipeline. So here we see that I did some more steps in my pipeline and already configured some visualization with that. So we will not extend exactly on what I did with this pipeline, but yeah, let's say now we're in that place.
Okay, that's a much nicer visualization already. Let's continue the analysis. Maybe let's try translating the plane because it's not exactly centered.
Yeah, so if we want to move the slice, we can select it, and we have our widget to move it. So you can change the plane. So here I just turn it. Maybe it was not what we want. You ask me to just translate it. So in that case, in this kind of misclick, you just have to click reset, and it will restore the plane at its original position. So now you can grab it correctly and translate it, let's say here for instance, and you can apply to get the new version. So is it better for you? Like that?
Not exactly sure. Can we still revert that?
Yeah, you can. We will with the apply button, undo button, we can easily restore the previous state of the pipeline. So just the toolbar here, and then we can switch between different states of the application. I can undo and redo easily to compare or to revert what I did. So maybe it was better here.
Yeah. Let's keep this way.
Okay. Nice.
Okay.
So once I'm okay, I can also hide the plane, so I can click on the view without moving the slice plane.
Okay, really nice.
It's more nice for screenshots.
But I'm still not exactly convinced by this visualization. Could I separate the slice and the streamlines into separate views?
Yeah, of course, you can have different views with same objects. So we just have to, for instance, split the view with this small button on top right of the render view and create a new render view that is empty by default. But what do you want to see in this view? You can maybe
let's just see the
Spitfire, for instance, and our slice.
Yeah, and the slice.
Okay, just like that.
But it's not the same rendering on both.
Of course, in this new view, this is the default visualization of my data, and I make a lot of work to get this one. So I can do the same thing manually, but it can be tedious and I can maybe forget some part of it. But what I can do too is to copy paste the parameters, the properties from this view to this one. So for instance, for the Spitfire, I select Spitfire on the first view, and then I can copy the display parameters with this small button here. And now I can go in the second view, and I can paste the display property with the second button, and directly I have the same parameters in both my view. So I can do it again for my slice plane, display property, copying from the first render view, clicking on the second, and paste display properties. And so in the few clicks, I have the same visualization in my both views.
Nice. So let's hide on the first one, the slice we display in the second one. So just to be sure, each view and each filter in each view has its own display parameters?
Yeah, you can configure each view with different sets of parameters for each data object.
Okay. I'm quite satisfied with this render. Could I save it in a file? Like the PNG file?
Yeah, of course, you can make screenshots of your results. So that you have several places to run the screenshots. You have some adjust button just above the render view, but you have also in the file menu, you can save screenshots. So let's go, for instance, directly on the desktop. Spitfire, okay, and you can choose to save just one view or to save both of them, and you can of course choose the image resolution. So we can select something standard and just hit OK. And now if we look on the object, we effectively have our screenshots. Okay. So you're ready to write your nice paper.
Great, I can publish that totally. Can I also render it in a higher resolution that is displayed right now on the screen?
Yeah, you can really choose the resolution, and you can have a screenshot with higher resolution than your current screen. That's not an issue.
Okay. Jules is asking, is the undo redo feature new in ParaView 5.12?
No, this undo redo, I guess it's really old features. I don't remember, but really several years ago it was introduced.
Yeah. Is there a shortcut for it too?
Yeah, probably Control Z to undo and Control Y to redo.
Okay, as any application I know. We also have another question from François. Is there a shortcut to take screenshots?
By default, there's no shortcut for the screenshots, but you should be able to define some, but no screenshots. You
Okay.
just something you have to press the button and go in the menu. Something I didn't mention, but when you use this small this tall button just above the view, if you do, as mentioned in the tooltip, if you do some control click or alt or shift click, instead of writing the screenshot on the disk, it will just directly pick the screenshot in the clipboard, so you can just paste it into a web page or a document or anywhere you want.
That's really nice.
Without writing on the disk.
Okay, I see now that both viewpoints in render view are not the same. How can I synchronize them?
Yeah, if you want to have both the same camera for both view, you can link the camera. So you right click on a view, you choose link camera option, and then you select the second view, and then you can move either first or second view, and it will move also the other. So probably it's better if you want to get if you want some synchronization. Okay. It's really easy to do.
Okay, but for my screenshot, I want specific viewpoints, like a few different ones that you can switch between. Is there a way to manage that?
So first, when you are trying to find the correct point of view, you may notice that sometimes you misclick and you remove just a little bit. You have an undo redo stack that is dedicated to the view. So when you are just trying to get the point of view, you can easily just undo to see if the previous was better or not. And that is not the same undo redo stack than the one for the whole application. So that's really handy. You can see that in the edit menu, you have undo redo for the actual modification and undo redo just for the camera just below.
Okay, I didn't know that.
And once you get something that is satisfying, if you want not to lose that, you can use custom viewpoints. So that will be a way to store camera position and configuration. So you can create that easily with this toolbar and this button with the little plus. And then it will create a new tall button in which the current camera is stored. So now, if you move again and you want to go back to our start position, you just have to hit this button and you go back to your nice camera. So it is easy to take a second time the exact same screenshots than previously.
Okay, really nice. That's a lot of things.
Yeah.
Now, okay, it's nice saving screenshots, but is there a way to automate that and not have to press screenshot, configure it every time?
Yeah, if you know that you want to produce a specific screenshot, and you will have to reproduce that different time because you change the input data or because you just change small parameters in the previous pipeline. To make it easier, you can use the extractors. So extractors are basically just writers, and we have a PNG extractor, so I can just control space for the quick launch window and use PNG. And then PNG extractor is some kind of writer that can be easily applied on your pipeline. So you will notice that by default, there is a default file name that is provided, and this file name use the name of the render view.
Oh.
So here I modified the render view name in my previous state to call that Streamlines. So automatically my file name is called Streamlines. So if you want to create a new extractor for this one, we will have render view one that is not really useful, so we can directly right click on it and rename the view and maybe call it slice, let's say. Okay. And now if I create a second PNG extractor for this specific render view, I will also have directly it named slice.
Okay, so an extractor is bound to a render view, a specific render view.
Yeah, the screenshot extractor are dedicated to a single view. You can't use extractor for the layout screenshots. But now I have my extractor, but I have no screenshots.
Yeah.
The way to do that is to use the save extract option, and then you just have to specify the output directory you want to use. So, Whoa. Sorry, I have to create it before, of course.
And then you select it.
And then select it. And now it will produce all the extracts of your pipelines directly in this directory. So that's really an easy way to produce the same kind of data in just one click. Here we create just a screenshot extractor, but of course we can also save actual data. I may save the mesh of my streamlines, for instance, or just my slice, and create some other data outputs.
Okay.
And now if I go in my screenshot directory, I have my slice and my streamlines to just next to the other with the exact same camera, because we link
them, yeah.
our camera.
I remember.
Yeah.
Okay. I also see in the extractor configuration that we have the time step mentioned. If we have a time varying data set, does that mean every time step is saved?
Yeah, when you save the extract, you can choose which time step you want to save, and if you have temporal data, it will update the pipeline for the different time steps you choose and produce extract for each time step you want. Note that there is a parameter in the extractors to choose if you want to save at each time step of the input, or if you want to do something smarter than that.
Okay, really nice. So to summarize everything we've seen how to open a file, how to apply a filter, use the quick launch, the quick launch menu, how to add it to favorites, how to rename our input, how to save a state, load from a state file, changing data. We've seen also the undo redo stacks for the application and the camera positions, how to save specific camera position, how to link them between views.
So,
also how to configure, how to take a screenshot, how to use an extractor to avoid taking a screenshot manually. That's a lot of things we've...
I think with that it's a good start point to construct some robust analysis and safely work day after the other by closing ParaView, reopen it, produce some consistent output of your analysis, and
I guess
some reproducibility of your analysis. I think it's very important.
And I guess ParaView goes even beyond that. There are much more advanced features.
ParaView is a big application. We can find a lot of other objects. If you explore the tools menu, you will find a lot of other stuff to help yourself. But sometimes it's more for dedicated use case. I think here we saw something really maybe generic, but useful for a lot of people.
Yeah, I even saw a customized shortcuts button, which you mentioned earlier.
Francois asked for creating shortcuts for screenshots that can be doable through this menu.
Okay, so I can automate a lot of things to work smarter. I think we're done for today, so if you have any questions, now is the time. But if you don't, we can introduce incoming features in ParaView.
Yeah, just maybe a few latency for the chat.
Yeah,
but waiting for question. I can just present shortly. So the ParaView 5.13 is currently in a release cycle, so it means that in several weeks it will be out. It's already testable from the download page on paraview.org if you want to give your feedback on it. And it will come with some improvements of the features we saw today. So the quick launch has more information in it. You can see a short help of the selected filter, and you can, the search text also search into the documentation of the filter, not only in the name. So if you forgot the name but have some keyword, you can find it. And as I say, the favorites also have a new organization. In fact, there are more some customizable categories than just favorites, and you can really reorganize all the filter categories of ParaView, and you can even create your own toolbar from that if you want to just click on a button instead of looking inside menus.
Okay.
Okay, also thanks for the data that come from Vuaille. That's I think that's all for us. If there are no questions in the chat, we can say thanks for attending, and see you soon for a new webinar.
Yeah, and don't forget to download ParaView 1.13 when it's ready. That's all for us. Bye.
Bye.